It is sweater weather season, and maybe you have an old sweater in the back of your closet that you haven't worn in a while, or it doesn't fit, or if you're really ambitious and want to make the crafts I'm making today, you can always grab one from the thrift store for a couple of bucks. I'm going to show you how to take one sweater and turn it into 3 awesome projects that you can use this winter. And I'm going to do it all using Beacon Adhesives Fabri-Tac. It's my favorite fabric glue. It works fantastic bonding fabric to fabric together, and it also bonds to other surfaces like wood and metal. The possibilities are endless. It also dries fast and clear, which are 2 really important things when you're working with fabric. All right, so to get started, here's what you need to make these 3 crafts. You need a sweater. You need a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. That's going to be to measure our pillow. You're also going to need a good pair of fabric shears. Going to need some straight pins, some clothespins. We're going to need some elastic. That's to make the scrunchie. You're also going to need a small hair tie, 1 button. We're using a coffee sleeve as an example. You're also going to need polyfill, and of course, you're going to need Fabri-Tac. And as a reminder, you can now get Fabri-Tac in 2-ounce, 4-ounce, or 8-ounce bottles. To get started, I took my 12 by 12 sheet of paper and I pinned it to my sweater. Now, I could do this one of 2 ways. If I wanted a perfect square pillow, I could cut out all 4 edges. But to keep it simple, I only want to have to deal with 2 open seams. So I'm going to cut straight lines directly across. I'm using my paper as a guide so that I don't have to use chalk or any type of marker on my sweater. So I'm going to cut 2 straight lines directly at the top and directly at the bottom. And as you can see now, I have what is part of a sweater. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually turn this inside out, and I am going to use my Fabri-Tac. I'm using the 8-ounce bottle. I am going to do a straight line of glue all along the top edge. Make sure that your line is straight because this will be the seam of your pillow. When I'm doing the other side, I'm going to do it about 3/4 of the way and leave an opening because we're going to need to flip our pillow inside out. It's really important that you wait for the glue to completely dry before you flip the pillow inside out. So remember that opening we left. We want to make sure that we carefully flip it right side out. Okay, next step is to take some polyfill and we're going to stuff our pillow. Once your pillow is filled, it's now time to close up the seam. So what we need for this is some clothespins, and we need our Fabri-Tac. And what I'm doing is flipping the edges of my pillow inside to make sure that it matches the current seam that I have. Make sure you push the edge of your corner in as well so you have a nice close seam. I'm gonna go ahead and take my Fabri-Tac and do just a little bit at a time. And to make sure that this stays exactly how I want it, I'm gonna use my clothespins to hold it in place until it dries. We're gonna start with the coffee wrap. You've got a couple of different options. I'm using the sleeve. Now, you can either just cut off the end of the sleeve, which is what we're going to do, or if there's a different pattern that you like on the sweater that you wanna use, you can use your coffee mug. So just grab one of these next time you get coffee. You can unfold this and then measure based on this to know about how long you need. We're gonna use a button and a hair tie so that it's extendable so you can use it on different size mugs. But for this guy, I'm gonna use the sleeve because I really like this pattern. So what I'm gonna do is just cut off the end, and it's up to you if you would like to hem it so that you have clean edges, but I kind of like the frayed look. I'm gonna take my scissor and actually cut it open. Now, I'm doing this because I want to be able to extend the length of it if I'm using a larger mug. I want to make sure it's about the same size as my old coffee one. Then one of the important parts is that we're going to need a hole. So I'm going to take my scissor and I'm going to make just a smidge of a hole right here. Then I'm going to take a button, and I'm gonna glue my button, not the entire button because you need some of the rim open to use the rubber band on. I'm gonna do just the center of my button with a dollop of the Fabri-Tac, and I'm gonna glue this to my sweater. I'm gonna let this dry before we do the next step. While that's drying, I'm gonna go back to the hole that I cut, and I'm gonna place just a small dot of Fabri-Tac at each end that I cut. That's gonna help it from actually fraying or ripping anymore. And we're gonna let this guy dry. Once it's dry, we're gonna take our hair tie, and through the small hole that you cut, we're going to put the end of our hair tie. We're going to loop it through the other end so it's nice and secure. And then we've got our button. All we need is some coffee. So you can use a hot coffee cup, or if you're like me, I drink iced coffee every day, but I absolutely hate when it gets all condensated and my hands get wet. So I always use a coffee wrap. So you're going to go ahead and wrap it around, and then you just take that hair tie, put it over the button, and you have your own perfect coffee wrap. And the great part is you can use this in all different size mugs. All right, I'm gonna go put my coffee down, and next we're gonna make a scrunchie. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut off my sleeve. I'm gonna cut about 3 inches of my sleeve. You wanna take your elastic, and you wanna use about half of the size of the length that you've cut of your sleeve. What we want to do first is take this open edge that we have here, and we're going to use our Fabri-Tac to do one nice straight line, but we need to remember that we need to leave both ends open. Once the glue is dry, we want to go ahead and flip our scrunchie inside out so we have a clean seam. Next, we're going to take a piece of elastic. I cut the piece of elastic about half as long as I did my piece of sweater. I'm going to take a safety pin, hook it on the end of the elastic, and then hook this to the end of the sweater. I'm going to take my second safety pin, and I'm going to hook it on my elastic and close it. Next, I'm going to take my elastic and I'm going to feed it through my sweater. The easiest way to do this is to go ahead and put your safety pin in, hold it on the outside with your 2 fingers, and then slowly scrunch up the sweater. And once you get it scrunched, you pull it out until you get to the end. Once you get through the end, pull out the elastic, and you're gonna open up this safety pin, and we're going to hook it to the end of the one that's hooked to the sweater. Next, take off the initial safety pin that's hooked to the sweater, and you can set it aside. We're going to take our Fabri-Tac and do one little dot of glue on the elastic, and then I'm gonna take a mini clothespin to put it there and let it set till it dries. Once it's dry, you can remove the clothespin. You'll see you've got a nice tight seam. Now what we wanna do is hem the end of our scrunchie so that we have a clean seam, and then we're going to take the unhemmed end and glue it inside of it. And once it's dry, you have the perfect scrunchie, whether you wear it as a bracelet or in your hair. All right, let's go grab the pillow because I'm pretty sure it's dry. How cute did the pillow turn out? I can't wait to go pop it on my couch. I don't know about you, but this looks like something you would buy at an expensive home decor store. To find out where you can get your own bottle of 2-ounce, 4-ounce, or 8-ounce Fabri-Tac, visit beaconadhesives.com. And for more no-sew crafts, visit craftboxgirls.com or follow Beacon on social at Beacon Creates. All right, stay tuned for more great crafts. Bye, y'all.